this time of year, you're going to have some kind of severe weather outbreak.
Good evening, everybody. This is Goddess Taya 4444. I am Tanya. This is a karmic read.
Not a lot of moisture there right now. So between now
and
it's going to be the fire.
Divine wants the karmics to know
and so we're going to have some
that
unstable air, and that's going to allow for the chance of some severe thunderstorms to develop. I do think there are going to be more widespread storms on Thursday. Again, this is the main event: Green Bay, Milwaukee, Chicago, Detroit, likely
today. When you all do the moon work today,
and some tornadoes will be possible, and then things will likely congeal into a line. Anytime you see,
because you're tempted. When you all do this
and moves west to east with mostly damaging wind, and then Friday some leftovers
on the moon today.
The south, mid Mississippi River Valley. We'll keep you closely updated with how all that's going to pan out. All right,
it's going to cost you all.
It is going to be a pretty big deal.
Your waters are really rocky. The storm is coming. You will have a hell of a lot of burdens. You will be carrying burdens on your back. Okay, like I said, this is the karmics. But look, I'm going to tell y'all. They want me to tell y'all.
Is always warmer nowadays. Don't get too sucked into all that nonsense. But look, I mean, this is a very warm blast of air. St. Cloud made it up to 93, 95.
There is no way.
87 in Duluth, and Bismarck was at about 96 degrees.
No matter what you do.
Upper 90s, 3 parts of the Dakotas. Duluth makes it up to 85. I mean, again,
you can set the world on fire.
That's outrageous. And what was it yesterday? 96?
You can send storms, whatever.
The heat gradually
whatever you do
other parts of Minnesota will get in on this as
to
well.
cause this world to end,
so the heat really sticks around. But here you go. Wednesday you start.
It is not going to happen.
A little bit, and the rain will help with this as well, because you remember the severe weather threat that we're going to have in this part of the country.
The divine
but the heat
wants me to let you know.
Here's where we are forecasting record highs today. Everywhere that you see one of these little red dots on the map.
He knows that you don't care.
Record high.
You don't care. And that you all feel like you have more power than he do.
This is really something. Bismarck, North Dakota. Today,
he said there is no way in this lifetime that you all are going to get away with not dealing with your karma. He said this is, it ends here.
Rain that's been going on down in the southeast. Could see some more flooding before all is said and done. We've had some reports of flooding.
You all have no choice. No choice whatsoever. You have to deal with your karma. Some of y'all gonna try to kill yourselves. It's not gonna work. You're going to deal with your karma.
Polio, whooping cough. Once they terrorized.
The high priestess.
They threaten us again. Weakness isn't an attack.
And this is the good one. Me.
Vaccinate.
This farm has been in our family for 65 years. America's international assistance is vital to farms like
you all are
keeps America's economy #1 and builds goodwill around
going to be held in judgment.
So it is targeted and strategic.
You all are being held in judgment and going to be held in judgment.
America doesn't win, and farmers don't win.
It's coming.
When I first found out that I was pregnant, I was able to go through Blue Cross.
You all wearing the mask and the armor.
It was so significantly less than what we were expecting.
You all are wearing the mask and armor, or think you all are wearing the mask and the armor.
And finally getting to be a mom is a gift you can't describe. It's the best thing in the world.
But your blessings, or the blessings that you are expecting, the money that you are expecting, you're already down to your last penny.
1 second, you're worrying about your home.
You're already down to your last penny.
Thanks to ADT, there's a lot less to worry about. Feel secure enough to let others in with trusted neighbor from ADT.
God has come through to set the boundaries.
When I hear cancer, I hear death sentence.
Every 15 seconds, someone will hear the words, "You have cancer."
And he got the sword in his hand right now. Not the sword, but he's carrying his big stick right now.
Helps fund important research that saves lives.
I'm channeling while I'm looking at these cards. And this is what I'm getting.
Donate today.
Nearly home. More space. I feel like
You all are looking forward to rebuilding this tower, getting structure in your life.
Better put a key ring on it.
You can say that again.
You better put a key ring on it.
You're trying to balance back. You're trying to balance your life out again, which is not again. Your motherfucking life haven't been balanced. It hasn't been balanced. It's been what you made it. You thought it was balanced, but it's not. Like I said, this magic that you are doing,
Spreading up across the southeast, parts of North Carolina, including western North Carolina. We'll be dealing with
today,
since Hurricane Helene's catastrophic impacts last fall, but still won't be comparable to that, don't worry.
will be your last.
Hurricane season is quickly approaching. Eastern Pacific season underway this
Over.
week, with the Atlantic season quickly following.
You're not going to get no, your soul is going to die today.
I designed it myself.
Your soul, not you. Your soul. Your thinking. What you are trying to do is going, if it hasn't yet, going to die today. It is the end.
I like to wear my sneakers sometimes when I'm a guest on the show, but you like to wear the show.
Because karma is coming back at your ass.
Let's talk about Florida here. They've had some flooding through the morning, and I think we're going to have some more.
Yes.
Said and done. Now, interestingly enough, Miami has actually gotten a little bit lucky here over the last
karma
hour or two, I would say.
It's coming back at you.
Rain moving off the East Coast, so they're kind of shooting the gap right now. And I'm wondering if this is going to cut down on their forecast rain totals a little bit.
Let me see if I can get some more.
A little bit more back here.
Because see, I'm going to try to give you 30 minutes. I'm not going to do a short thing. Let me see.
We had a couple of flooding instances earlier on, I think this May. So this is an area that wouldn't
Yes, the spell work
right over it.
that you all
Yeah, we can use a couple of showers, but I think the big old heavy
are doing or trying to do today.
Look, it's tough to get out of a drought without at least some flooding, right? But there's kind of an ideal way that you want to get the rain, right? If too much at one time, it's going to cause a huge...
You're going to lose that power.
Over several days, but yeah, you can see these at least
completely.
Flooding. One was up close to
It is going to be cut off.
And not sure if that's still ongoing or not. That was probably about...
If it's not cut off yet.
That's the thing with flash flooding is it tends to go down pretty quickly. But just to show you what else is going on across the state, you know, a lot of the peninsula is getting in on the action today. I know at points over the last few days, you know, I was covering this on Weather Command Weekend with Kendall Smith.
I'm not through with y'all yet.
Florida Panhandle.
I'm doing something right now.
Now we're
For a
getting
minute.
action over the peninsula.
Okay?
I-4 is just an absolute mess.
I'm getting some tarot on your asses.
In the thick of that, right? Yep. And no one likes to go to Orlando when it's raining like this. Typically, Florida does get in on those showers that are and thunderstorms that are a little bit more quicker. They're fast-paced. That's not the case here, and I think this training effect is what adds to that.
Yeah.
That we can see through the course of
Yeah, the problem is it's not like a line of
God
storms
is
that's just
carrying
moving
his
from west to
big
east, you know?
stick
It's got this whole
right
south
now.
to north movement along it while it's so slowly moving from west to east. Sets up like train tracks over an area, and you said it best, I think. It's just the training effect.
And it's also dragging that moisture right off of the Gulf, moving into the Atlantic. So on both sides of the peninsula.
All he have to do is aim it.
Yeah, you make a good point. So the Weather Prediction Center had upgraded to a level 3 out of 4
That big
risk for
stick
Miami.
will
Fort Lauderdale,
transform
kind of up towards West Palm Beach. That was the flood risk. That's out of 4. So
into something that you're gonna wish that it didn't transform into, okay?
But yes, the drought situation is going
Yeah.
on right now. So I mean,
He getting ready to strike on y'all's asses.
Okay. And I think those who are aware of it in Florida, you live here, you know that, you know, when we get these kind of setups, what to do.
He getting ready to strike.
Those places that are typically prone to flooding, make sure you're staying away from them, driving away from them, not driving through the flood water.
Look how much rain we've seen here, just south of I-4. Some spots have picked up 5
He says no more
inches of it.
crying.
You get farther down toward the south, down toward Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Yep.
And yeah, about 4 to 5 inches for a lot of people.
Yep.
There's a couple pockets of 5 to 8. But again, with that batch of rain that's gotten off the coast here, it may cut down on the...
He's giving you the message right now.
So that's how much has already fallen. Now I'll put up the map of how much we're
He's
forecasting.
blowing that horn right now
Majority of it still showing
to
up
wake
in
you
South
up.
Florida, but again, you know, sometimes you look at these
He's getting ready to use that stick.
keep looking at these forecast models, but then
He's
sometimes
getting ready to use that stick on your ass. And he got plenty more behind him.
higher totals forecasting here and maybe lower totals here, right?
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. I mean, we still have a couple more days.
This karma is going to be 3 times harder.
Good point.
When all is said and done, but to your point, maybe we do.
Yeah, these 3 sticks is changing.
Future radar Fox models done a great job at kind of looking at what's happening now and looking at what's.
These 3
And
wands.
it is over the central portions of the state that sees the heaviest.
Yeah, and so this is one thing we like to do with forecast models. So I'll go back
Looking
to
at these cards, I'm
What
channeling.
job is it doing? How well does that match up with the radar? It's not perfect, but it has the idea that
Like I said, he's blowing the horn right now.
off the coast here. So let's see what happens from there on out. So then we'll say, all right, it initialized pretty good.
He has
We'll move forward in time. It keeps the majority of it off
the
coast.
wand in his hand right now.
Yeah, during the overnight. So I don't think we're done with the rain in Miami. I don't want to
And this karma is coming back 3 times harder on you all.
Either way, we'll watch it closely. We'll keep you updated. We got to go farther up toward the north, so we're going to go up into the Carolinas now.
3 times harder
Back to word flooding. It's
on what you put his children through.
Especially for places like this, places like Asheville. And we got some pretty heavy rain. We got the level 2 out of 4 flood risk. We're not going to see any kind of flooding like what we saw during Helene. I just want to get that out of the way right now. That's not in the forecast, but you know, I know a lot of places still rebuilding. It's going to take years.
And to see another situation where we have a city like Asheville under some threat of flooding, it's not going to be as bad as Helene has already said, but to be under some sort of flooding may be triggering to the folks that live there. As you mentioned, the cleanup process is still ongoing. We're more than 6 months out from this.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, we have this
The peaceful life that you was having, all that fun and good time and chilling that you was having,
I mean, the ground is starting to get pretty soaked here because
it's all coming
We had a
down.
couple reports of some flooding in parts of South Carolina and Georgia earlier. So that's just an indication that this is some really heavy rain. It's already caused
And it's
flooding.
rushing
We've
in.
gotta take into account kind of the history of the storm system as it's moving into a new area. And the worst of this is starting to move into North Carolina right now.
He has his sword ready.
Little dots that you see on the screen from Columbia down towards Savannah. The coastal parts of Georgia have gotten in on some of that.
He has his sword ready.
Yeah, to your point, Deanna, I think you notice this influx of moisture here. And again, you put Asheville
To
a little
strike.
here, I suppose, and you're starting to see some of the heaviest rain move into that region right now.
And you mentioned it too with Florida. I mean, it is the direction. Usually you have these storms coming out of the west, over the mountains, and out towards the Atlantic. That's not the case. This is coming in from the south, sourced off of the Atlantic. So again, that could be another big player in the amount of rain that falls over the next couple of hours.
Yeah, the low pressure is off toward the west. It's a slow-moving low-pressure system, so that's another problem with this too. And you've got a whole lot of moisture. I keep referring to this rain rate that we had over the weekend.
The karmics has been holding on and holding on and trying to hold on
I'm not saying it's quite that high right now, but
to have the world in their hands.
there's your level 2 out of.
I'm telling you the truth about that. Y'all been trying to hold on and hold on and hold on.
You know, just so people understand, anytime you get air that rides up, like let's say this is
Ignoring him.
air that rides up a mountain, it's going to increase the precip rate on that side of the mountain, and then you get less precip on that side of the mountain. So sometimes during, let's say it's during the.
He's been sitting back. He's been sitting back and watching your asses.
You get almost no snow on the other side. This is the opposite. So with the wind coming in out of the southeast, we're going to get enhanced.
He's drawing up that sword.
The east and the southeast facing.
And it's going to come rushing in with the blink of an eye to tear your asses down.
That's why it may be turning to an area like Asheville, right? We've kind of seen a similar setup last hurricane season. So don't let that guard down. This is not going to be another Helene situation, but the setup is very similar.
Yeah, look at this low pressure. It finally starts to move. I mean, I guess that's kind of a good thing. You know, the other thing to keep in mind here is that we do have.
Okay, so I'm not going to tell this.
Southeast. I know we've been so focused in on the Florida drought because it's the most extreme.
This is none of your business about his children.
And this is honestly like where some of the heaviest of the rain is going to fall over the next couple of
Let
days.
me see. What else? I want another deck of...
these flood outlooks with some heavy rain.
Okay, let me see what this is going to say.
Yeah, he was the most. So, I mean, if there's ever a silver lining
What,
with a lot of
Holy Spirit, what do you have to say about this?
For the first time in an area like North Carolina this season.
Yeah, we'll take it. Speaking of first times, what about the first chance that we have for a little bit of tropical action this season? That's some video from Helene, Perry, Florida, not far from where it made landfall, of the devastating winds that
This spread, this reading.
And right, I'm not saying that it shouldn't be this way. A lot of the focus was on the devastating flooding that happened in western North Carolina because that was
wait a minute.
one of the most horrific natural disasters in modern history.
Yeah.
I compare it to Katrina, honestly.
Yeah, I remember you actually doing that in real time when I was there in Asheville and we were talking, back and forth.
Again.
That was one of the first things you said, and I was like, wow.
Damn. A confirmed yes. 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 He say yes. It's going down, and you have to serve your karma this lifetime. No matter what the fuck you do, you're gonna serve your karma.
And some really bad wind damage too. I believe it was Cat 3 at landfall, if I'm not mistaken. All right, on to what's going on right now. We've been talking about this for a little bit.
I'm seeing and hearing lights out.
Eastern Pacific or the Western Caribbean. There were some points during the timeline where it looked like maybe something could form in the Western Caribbean. GFS was trying to spit out a couple model runs.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen them all on social media.
Yeah.
It's starting to look less and less likely though.
Yeah, and you know what? If it does happen in the Pacific, that would be right on cue. In the Caribbean, I think that's where we had that conversation of, oh, this is coming a little bit ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
What does this mean for the upcoming hurricane season? Being as though most of this now is...
I'm seeing sickness and illness.
...are shaping up to be possible development, I think this is a little bit more of a sigh of relief.
Yes. And it also wouldn't be a weird thing to see a storm form in the East Pacific this time of year. Like, maybe just a little bit early, but it's happened a whole lot of times. In fact, I can show you how many times it's happened. Since 1950, we've had 26 tropical storms form in that region, and 19 hurricanes, so it's not
The
out of the realm of
big
possibility.
kahuna in the
First
sky
storm that we
is
have,
in
first
charge.
big storm that we get in the East Pack,
And
usually June 10th.
all his
Touch
employees.
on the early side, just to give people an idea.
So
Of when the
they have their own place up in the sky, you know, own building up in the sky, you know,
between August
and
and it's also a more pronounced peak, and it drops off a lot more quickly on either side. So
yep.
a longer period of action that you get in the Pacific, more consistent, but not quite.
He's bringing in the army.
As bad in some cases. Well, in some cases it can be.
See all them hands
Out there also.
raised.
That's about enough talk about the tropics.
These are the employees.
Yeah,
Get it all out.
well, I mean,
These are the employees. The angels, the ancestors.
Right, we'll flow into it.
He's standing on top of that mountain,
We are your Hurricane HQ, we are your Severe Weather HQ.
getting ready to call a shot.
Stick with us after the break, we're going to talk about how all this
Because y'all been damn
We'll be right
fools.
back after this. Thank you, Keanu Lewis, for the time. I appreciate it.
Some of y'all may want to jump off the roof. Because see, that loyalty is on the side of you. But it looked like that dog is saying, go ahead, motherfucker. Go ahead, motherfucker, jump.
What's more important?
You see how that dog look?
What is protecting both?
Lord, forgive me, I'm not. Yeah, why y'all doing this to me?
The defeat of the world is something
Ancestors. That dog is looking as if to say,
once,
go ahead on and jump, you damn fool.
from the outside. It's
He ain't even trying to protect them.
best in America.
He's just sitting there.
When I first found out that I was pregnant, I was able to go through
See, Daddy,
Blue Shield to figure out what kind of services were offered. Everyone tells you how expensive everything is.
Okay.
It was so significantly less than what we were expecting. Since Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage
Yeah.
was a weight off of our shoulders. And
No, okay, what I'm getting here,
is a gift you can
when I say that dog looking like, he like, go ahead, damn fool, jump.
I always wanted to lose this, but I never figured
And what I'm getting now is,
how do I lose this weight?
go ahead on, be a goddamn fool, and do this magic today.
My lifestyle. I've lost 20 pounds already.
That's what that is. See, y'all motherfuckers getting drunk and shit now. Or y'all get drunk to do this motherfucking spell work.
and accused
Yeah,
rapist,
drinking,
murderer, and child pornographer. All
having them
illegally
cocktails and
because of
shit.
President Trump's leadership. I'm Christine Ohm, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. And if you're here illegally, you will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. But if you register using our
Some of you
Secret Home app
also,
now, you could come back.
like I said, you got a double yes. A double yes from him. Some of y'all are going to need therapists.
The inside of an auto shop. Because if you're here, the car is too. And that means something's wrong. And likely it means an expensive repair bill. That is, unless you call CarShield. When you call CarShield before your
Some
car
of you
breaks
all
down,
are
they
going to
have
need
codes
a
to cover
therapist.
9,000 parts and systems of your car. Don't wait. Call CarShield today, before it's too late.
Call 800-369-9526.
Does your student loan payment make you cringe? By refinancing to a lower rate through Credible.com, you could drastically cut your monthly payments. At Credible, you get personalized rates from multiple lenders. Visit Credible.com now to see your new monthly student loan payment.
Who just called me? Nobody.
All right, welcome back to America's Weather Center. Starting to rain now in Charleston, West Virginia. There's I-64, intersecting with, I can't remember, but I worked there for a couple of years. Is that I-77? Yeah, 64 and 77. Nice, beautiful drive down to Beckley along I-77 if you ever get a chance to do that. Some beautiful mountains, but if you live in the Rockies and you drive down there, you probably just call them hills, but it's very pretty, a lot greener.
So I must be giving the right information.
This really tells the story, the visible satellite right now. You got this big upper level low that's not moving very much. Honestly, this was centered pretty close to the Gulf Coast over the weekend when I was on Weather Command weekend. 6 a.m. to noon on the weekends, by the way. And today, it's just a little bit farther towards the north. It is going to finally start to move to the northeast over the next...
Anything else you want these karmics to know? Holy Spirit?
While it lasts, it's up in the northeast, because when you look at that on the visible satellite, I mean, it sticks out like a sore thumb. Boston and New York...
The phone was, I took I paused for a minute because my phone was ringing.
Hitting that train over to New Jersey after the shift. But here's what's going to happen in the Northeast. It will get a lot more active. This is some video from Friday in New York City, by the way, down below me. So soon we forget.
This is the beginning for you all. This is a beginning for you all. This is your beginning.
Southeast right now. It's finally going to get some legs. It's going to move up toward the Northeast.
And, yeah, you're going to be crying.
Starting overnight tonight and lasting into the day.
The water, the waterfall, you're going to be crying. You're crying because your cup isn't getting full. That cup is nowhere full.
It's not going to be like non-stop all-day rain, but a lot more of this showery, thunderstormy pattern.
Whatever's coming in is very little.
Through the end of the work week and into the weekend. So yeah, I know it's a little bit of a complicated situation, but the long and short of it is that we're going to get a fast from heavy rain that comes in late tomorrow through Wednesday, and then some less heavy, more spotty rain through the end of the work week and into the weekend. So here is, again, today. Later on today, we'll get some rain in places like DC and Baltimore. That won't be too much.
Yeah, because you put his children in a condition like this. You all will be in the same condition. House junkie, not clean, drinks spilled all over. Yeah, just like you put his children in a position like that, y'all will be in the same position.
Urban areas especially, and also some of the creeks and streams between some of the hills and the mountains there, some of those valleys, they tend to flood pretty easily. So
you all too will be seduced,
the forecast for Wednesday,
as you all have seduced others.
And then that will weaken quite a bit. Not to the point that
your own karmic, the game that you was playing, the strategy that you was having for the divine ones. This is what you getting back. Somebody strategizing against you all. Playing games with you all. They are going to cause you grief. Also, everything you did to the divine ones, you are getting back. And you have no choice but to deal with it. You tried to ruin the divine ones. You all will now be ruined. You feel like your lives are ruined. But that's what you did to the divine ones. And I'm going to end it right there. Yeah. Some of y'all going to end up being sick.
All right, let's talk about some new weather. That's going to be
taking care of your babies by yourself.
So Chicago, you guys are going to be in the crosshairs. Coming up,
some places will catch fire. Your homes will catch fire.
Pretty large thunderstorms.
Wow. Some damage to your house. I would suspect doing a weather disaster. A weather disaster. See everything turned over.
Illinois, Indianapolis.
And glass broken out. I think, glass broken out. Yeah. Y'all gonna get all that back.
Out parts of the northern plains, and then Friday it's
Completion.
a more expansive area. Storm prediction centers mainly highlighting kind of
Everything has been completed.
I think we'll have some thunderstorms out here, but some of them could get a little bit on the nasty side.
This is the end.
All of the ingredients that we
This
need.
is the end.
This is what's making us so far to the north. Is this area?
Some of you will be homeless.
Reasonably far to the north.
If not all of you, and that's the
This is
truth.
also going to knock back the temperatures in the plains.
I'm going to end it right there.
You know, the heat that's around
And
right now, we'll talk about in just a minute.
there's nothing else that I can say, but you gotta deal with your karma. You're going to, in this life, you are going to deal with your karma. You all have no choice. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can't, it's no can I or so-and-so compromising. The Lord say no. Cutthroat. It's a cut.
Individual supercells that will form, and then eventually they
Lord said no. You will. This lifetime serve your karma. Bye.